Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Starr, and today we have Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on again. Welcome
Always
to
my
my
pleasure.
office.
And we have Jim Eid from Eid Foundation.
Hi, Sasha. Hi, Ken.
Three
Yep.
things I would like to mention. Number one, that we will be out of here in 30 minutes regardless.
Okay.
Number two, I wanted to talk about this recent tournaments, and they're changing each other. One starts, another one is in progress. The third one is coming. It's just almost 24 hours on my TV screen through YouTube, various sites and various sources. And at three, it just came a topic in our conversation about situation in women's chess in the United States. Why don't we start with that? Because that's probably a very, very important topic. Not only because my wife of 50 years is also a chess player and international women master, 8 times Canadian chess champion and so on, but we both know Jennifer Shahar quite as well. And I'm missing this news because obviously it's not coming out on this various chess programs that we are watching, but there is some substance in it. Jim, would you like to give us what you know about all this?
Yeah, sure. It started with complaints that Jennifer Shahade had made about an individual grandmaster who's since been banned for 2 years by the U.S. Chess. And there was another grandmaster that was banned for a year. Jen's complaints, the person she was complaining about got assigned to be coach of a women's team. So she was very upset, and there was a lot of controversy about it. And the U.S. Chess put out an announcement that they had a third-party investigation and said that they had handled everything perfectly. And so I brought it up at the Women's Committee and at the delegates floor in August last month at the U.S. Open, where we have our governance workshops and annual meeting. And, it didn't go over very well. I will point out one person in particular, Vice President Ken Pryor, was very responsive and said all the things that the U.S. Chess has been doing, even though it might be a little bit late, tip of the hat to what they are doing now to be more responsive to women who complain. They announced that they have a hotline, for example, if anyone feels it's unsafe at a tournament, they can call. And they're initiating a tournament directors training program type of thing. It's unclear to me whether or not they're charging people to get it. Requiring them and charging them seems to be somehow wrong. I don't know exactly everything that they're doing, but I am impressed that they're doing something. They're taking this matter seriously. But just recently, Grandmaster Ben Feingold resigned from U.S. Chess in protest over this and initiated a recall of President Randy Bauer, who has been a bit obnoxious about how he's handled the situation. Now, I like Randy as a person, but he can get a little power full of himself. And so he can talk down to people. He can be condescending. Everyone has their character defects. That's one of his. And, so he's rubbed people the wrong way, including Ben Feingold, who's a very well-known grandmaster in the United States.
Listen, Jim, even Donald Trump has its shortcomings.
Oh, no.
You see me? No.
So that, in a nutshell, is what's going on. And Jen resigned. She was the best ambassador we had for women's chess in the U.S.
Yes.
And written books, and was always pleasant and charming. Even
she was very high profile, and she was doing chess commentaries. Besides being a very good player, and her understanding of chess, experience, and a role model for aspiring girls to progress in chess.
I'd say she's a role model for me. the way she's handled herself
Mhm.
in public
Yeah,
representing chess. But yes, the best role model we've had for young women. And
absolutely.
for the organization to lose her um, over something like this, it tells me that the organization was not sensitive to the issue. And I think that they're making progress, but there's still some annoying arrogance in some of the people that I met. And I think the Women's Committee was not able to tackle this situation when I brought it up because there were executive board members there. And I believe that dissent is punished in US chess. And I think the policy board, the executive board, has squashed people's desire to be disagreeing with them over how they've handled things. I personally was, encountered an
Jim, very, very, very quickly, one question. What is the nature of complaints against officials? Is it some unwanted sexual advances, something similar to that?
against the players that were banned, yes. And,
Mhm. Mhm.
we've talked in the past about, like women don't tend to report this because they don't think that anyone will take them seriously. And the second consequence is that it gets out and people then think, oh, that person's you know, just causing trouble. We don't like that person. So there's negative consequences for them to ever come out and say anything. So I thought Jen was very brave to make the complaint in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just noticed that Randy Bauer did apologize
Oh,
for the post he made on Twitter.
Oh, good.
So it's
good.
dated September 23. He posted a letter that says, "Last week I made chess related posts on X that were unwarranted, unfair, and hurtful. I regret making them and I have since deleted them. I publicly apologize to Sean Finn for my negative responses to his posts and to Jennifer Shahade for including her in the discussion. I again thank Shahade for her coming forward in the Ramirez case, which led the U.S. Chess Executive Board banning him for life from U.S. Chess membership. I understand that as USCF president, my comments on social media should reflect our organization's missions and values. I did not do so last week, and I promise I will do better going forward. I am
That's a good Randy.
Yeah, I am entirely committed to our efforts to create a safe place for all chess players in our events and our community. I ask for the chess community's forgiveness as I continue to work, enhance, implement, and enforce U.S. chess safe play requirements."
Yes,
Oh,
that's
sounds
great.
good. Yeah.
That's good. But he talked about one comment on Twitter. He made a series of them. So this is not something that was a one off.
Yeah.
Randy has been arrogant about this topic in the past, but this is the good Randy. I tell you, I like him personally. Because he's taking responsibility. He as president of the organization, he was embarrassing me as a member, and Ben Feingold resigned. So this is something that's not going to go away, and I think the organization has to do a better job.
I think I would like to remind you what's happened at the end of Women's Soccer World Championship. When
Yes.
Yes.
president of Spanish Chess Federation kissed as their star player, and since then he was just knocked out of Spanish Chess Federation, just like that.
Yeah.
Although I understand the temperament of Spanish, especially men, probably
Yes, the macho,
men,
macho
macho,
man.
yeah. So how not to kiss a star player? Well, now you're gonna learn how not to kiss the
Yeah.
Spanish star player.
Yeah.
The times are changing, but we can understand the man, how he was brought up, what his culture is, and he was exuberant. And however, there's now lines that we cannot cross. There's boundaries that we have set. Then if you cross them, there are consequences. And what we cannot do is blame the people that are complaining about their treatment,
Right.
which has been our past, and which
Mhm.
is why women are so reluctant to complain in the first place. There are letters out there signed by many women, some of them who will not play anymore because of the way they've been treated, and their inability to get action by the formal organizations that exist, including FIDE. I
It's
think FIDE is taking it seriously too. now. But
Absolutely, because Jim, if we want to popularize chess and make it as a family pursuit, we're all family having fun,
yeah,
playing chess tournaments, or even watching, like me and now, we're watching Wilson's chess show nonstop. Uh, that's wonderful. And if females don't feel safe enough to attend live tournaments, this is horrible, absolutely terrible thing to do.
yeah. And
Um,
I'm funding the first U.S. Senior Open, Senior Women's Championship. Sorry,
hmm,
in Berkeley next month. And
nice.
the reason I'm doing this, part of the reason I'm doing this, is that these women, girls coming together and playing each other, that's great. But they don't have the multi-generational experience that I had when I started playing as a young person. And so we have to encourage women to keep playing even when they become seniors. And so they have their peers, their parents, and their grandparents playing. And once we establish that, it'll be a safer environment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're doing great job, Jim. I'm
Thank
very
you.
proud of you. And now, very interesting thing, I'll change topic to one interview that I was listening to one of the Russian chess networks that they were doing commentaries on a chess tournament in Amsterdam organized by Levitov Chess.
Yes.
There are people playing like Kramnik and Swidler, and it's kind of a mix of different generation. Anand was playing very well staged in a beautiful Amsterdam hotel. And as a part of this programs, I was listening to interview by Dubov, who's very promising grandmaster, young grandmaster.
Mm,
And a part of the interview, because he was working with Carlson before his match with Nepomniachtchi, so he knows Carlson's circumstance quite well. And he was asked, obviously, the position of Carlson, the position on classical chess, whether he will ever return, and so on and on and
yeah.
on. He says, um, look, it's not the question whether Carlsen is better than anybody else in classical chess. I think nobody actually even asking that question. The people who understand a little bit about chess knows the answer. The question is, um, it's who says that? It's economy, stupid.
Yeah.
Was the
James Carville.
Yeah. Bill Clinton's advisor, James
Oh,
Carville.
yeah, absolutely. So it's basically he rephrased it to the chess situation. He says, "Why Carlson in his right mind, when he can, he can still stay in his pajamas at home, keep winning hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. The prizes are enormous. He has not put any efforts. He doesn't need seconds. He doesn't need anybody. He just comes to the computer, makes few moves here and there, going in a little bit the end game. The result is obvious. And he has a tournament after tournament, match after match. He's collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, every single year.
You might have to worry about having his cup of coffee first.
So,
Yeah. And he's very distinctly better at fast chess than everyone else. I mean, he was a
absolutely.
beast in the speed chess. Yes.
So, what's a proposition to him is being put by FIDE and all the chess community is that you, first of all, you will be playing not this rapid and blitz games, but slow motion classical so-called chess. Okay, number one, where he has less advantage than in other forms of chess, but
Right.
still has. But okay, it's debatable. Maybe somebody will beat him with a score of 5-0, and in this case, I will be proven wrong. I don't see that happening very often. Not
No.
in my lifetime, I'm pretty sure. So he has to do it for, let's see, what, a million a year is his prize if he would win or something. And he has to pay for several months of training. He needs to hire seconds
Right.
and all kind of auxiliary personnel. So then he will clear up and pay his expenses and all that stuff. he'll clear probably half of that amount, 600,000 maybe. And he can do that without any preparation, any seconds, anything, no expenses at all. Just put on her pajamas, go to the computer, switch on. It doesn't cost you any money so far, right? Then you play a game and you win the match. Most scores that he wins is 2.5 against half, and he goes to next round and then next round, then he becomes a champion. I don't remember when last time he lost even a match in this format. So it's economy. It's economy. If the price there, instead of this little what million euros or so, would be 5 million euros, then Carlson could view as alternative and quite healthy alternative to his continuation of rapid and blitz games on a computer. Hmm, okay, so I'll take a few months off, but I will have a chance to get $5 million. Maybe it's a viable alternative. Why not? Okay, I'll give it a try. So, in my opinion, with all the money coming now to chess, the sponsors is the whole situation in chess, especially on a very highest level. I'm talking about top 10, maybe top 20, but no more than that. It's a different money now. It's a different situation. Now, this million euros or dollars or whatever FIDE offers for World Championship, it's not going to work. It's not
It's
there.
not enough. Yeah. So that
It's
is
not enough.
it. Well, yeah. So a Firouzja Carlson match might have attracted more, and it is significant now. Firouzja seems to have stepped back. We could say he's gone into high fashion or whatever. But it was very striking when Carlson listed his rivals, and he listed number one, no one, number two, Hikaru Nakamura, and then the meme item I saw has 3, 4, and 5 also blank. So no Firouzja in particular. Firouz just disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
Firouzja, he's become a little bit wobbly lately. It's not the same Firouzja, say,
maybe
a year
Though,
ago.
Pragnananda versus Carlson would attract a multi-million price.
Sure, I would think, but
It still
who
has
am I
to
to
be
say?
promoted like boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Just sorry, Jim. What you said is everything is right, but the first name, what you pronounced, was Carlson. Then second, third, fourth, fifth, or so on.
yeah,
Okay, some challengers would attract a little bit more attention and money, therefore, and some challengers less. The fact that Nepomniachtchi won two candidate tournaments in a row, essentially he repeat results of Spassky, Korchnoi. There's a handful of players in
right,
history who do that. Maybe
Yeah.
3, 4 players, that's it.
right.
And he's done it, but his play is too, um, I would say, inconsistent, flawed, temperamental at times. It's not a play of the world champion. Period.
But like you say, it's the economy. It's
Yeah,
the economy, stupid. Because if you take Carlson out of that equation, nobody cares who's going to play each other.
absolutely. So the match, the value of the match with Carlson is arguably five, at least 3 million euros for sure, but probably five. And without Carlson, regardless who is playing home, 500,000. Give it.
Maybe.
It's the same thing happened when Shirov won that terrible match against Kramnik. So Shirov, match Kramnik Kasparov, I think attracted about $2 million, and Shirov Kasparov. And Kasparov was looking for money. He really wanted to play a match because he organized that formula that Shirov will play. He wanted to play Anand Kramnik, of course, but Anand essentially refused by asking for substantial deposit. So Anand was out, so Shirov replaced. He was next in line. And everybody was sure that Kramnik will win against Shirov and will meet Kasparov. But what a situation
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
when
We all wanted to see that match, but it
decisively
wasn't.
he
Yeah,
lost decisively. Kramnik lost decisively to Shirov. So Shirov now has the right to challenge Kasparov.
Yeah.
And Kasparov, he told him that unfortunately the value of this match is way below I expected, unfortunately. And the best offer is 500,000. So
Wow.
I was told that Shirov went to discuss it with Karpov, and Karpov told him it's a joke. You'll have to ask at least for $2 million purse, and the match failed. And then, history,
Right.
Kramnik,
Right.
Kasparov match, and so on. And so the loser, and not only that, the tragedy for Shirov was, and he told me when he was playing on Chess Stars, he told me that it was Rentero in charge of organizing Spanish
Oh
organizing.
yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, Rentero, yeah.
Yeah, Louis Rentero. And what's happened is that Kramnik was paid his loser's price, full stop, period. Now, Shirov would be paid uh, as the loser of a championship. There would be way much more money than whatever Kramnik got. So, as a loser, he would gain, and never mind that he still had a chance to win. Very unlikely, but still. Now, because match never took place, so he didn't even get the loser's prize of the world championship. He got nothing.
Are
He got
you kidding
zero.
me?
Mhm.
As a winner of
Oh,
the match, he was paid zero. Kramnik was paid for, I think it was almost 150, maybe even $200,000 as a loser. So the
right.
Sheriff supposedly, even if he would lose the world championship, he would probably get $400,000 or $500,000, and that would cover basically his winning match against Kramnik. Of course, he lost to Kasparov, but at
and
least he got
and all
so
the expenses of seconds and all that kind of stuff.
absolutely. So
Right.
Shearer became, and it affected his chess career big time because at the time in '90s he was probably top five players.
He was fire
All
on board. Yeah. He was
and his games were very interesting, very engaging.
very. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden his career was almost broken. Then he was trying to reestablish himself later on, but the time was running out on him, and now he's 50 something.
Yeah.
Uh, he still has his talent and occasionally plays
Right, but obviously
great
that's,
games.
that's a real crime.
That's
And,
I agree, Ken.
a tragedy.
I thought it was a crime against the chess culture that the match never took place, but I didn't realize that the suffering that Shirov faced. So thank you for telling us about that.
yeah,
No,
if
that was
Kasparov
incredibly
beat
harsh.
Kramnik, then Kasparov may have played Shirov, maybe.
Sorry, Ken.
If Kasparov had beaten Kramnik,
Yeah.
then there might have been an opening for Kasparov to play Shirov.
Yeah, probably. See, the problem is that Shirov was never perceived as a viable challenger to Kasparov because at that time the score was horribly one-sided. Just like 11 wins for Kasparov, probably one for Shirov, and few draws.
Yeah,
It was very very difficult to entice real interest to that match from chess community because everybody was sure that Kasparov will just destroy him at easy. So, but people also thought that he would destroy Kramnik, and that didn't happen. It was
Right.
the only match in all history. No, there was another one when Capablanca beat Lasker. Lasker couldn't win even a single game, and so is the same thing happened here, where champion of the world couldn't win a single game against challenger. So this was almost one-sided affair. It was quite interesting match, interesting games, but there was no fight really. I mean, Kramnik, and I read the book by Evgeny Bariev, who was Kramnik's
Mhm.
second, and when he first used this Berlin defense and made a draw, so everybody was sure that this is just one time opening, and they asked what to prepare for next game, and Kramnik said, I like this opening, actually it's not that bad. And he played second time. He played, I think, four times, and Kasparov never could get a decisive advantage in this
Yeah.
position.
He brought that.
Finally, once already he lost his title, and there was a tournament in Kazakhstan, in Astana, and finally he beat Kramnik in Berlin defense.
Yeah.
But he did 4 tries, the most important ones. He couldn't make it down.
We talk about the psychology of chess sometimes, and Kasparov once said that he thought Kramnik was going to be the next world champion after him. And I wonder if that has played a role in when Kramnik got good enough to become the challenger. All of a sudden, Kasparov thought, my time has come. Maybe even without knowledge of it consciously, just thinking that this is the guy that's going to replace me. I always thought so.
There is a controversy, although, Kramnik was at that time, 30 years ago, he was a young and talented player without any doubts. And I have no problem with Kasparov liking him and his style or so on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at that time, Kramnik couldn't win even 2 matches in a candidate's level. I think he was lost to Gelfand. I think he lost to Gata Kamsky. So he didn't show anything exceptional in that matches at that time when Kasparov praised him so highly. Okay, he had good result in Philippines Olympiad. Okay, but then he didn't really show much. And then Kramnik, he invited Kramnik for his World Championship match with Anand in 1995. And that also helped tremendously Kramnik to understand algorithm of how Kasparov taking his openings and style and so on. He learned a great
All
deal.
of a factor, yeah.
That helped Kramnik way much more than Kasparov too. And then in the late 90s, 98, 99, Kramnik was definitely one of the top three with Kasparov, him, and Anand. They were on the very top.
Yes.
So when Anand,
I think that's fair.
for whatever reasons, I don't know why Anand took such an approach that there must be a deposit or so on. Well, the only reason is that maybe he was not too anxious to play Kasparov again after 1995. And another one is that there were a lot of attempts at that time. See, there were no rules. There was one system of Ilubzhinov, all those championships, FIDE. Another one is what Kasparov was doing, and
PCA, yeah.
Kasparov was getting to his
That was
last,
a messy
last
time.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Anand wanted to, because commitment to play match, which means he has to start preparation, hire seconds, and go into this. And without substantial deposit, he thought that it's just too risky. Without his liking of Kasparov or so on, but he still believed that this is not a very good business proposition. Again, it's economy, right? So maybe that was, and then comes Kramnik, who was. I think that match was a match where Kramnik was on the top of his game during all these years, and Kasparov was at the bottom of his abilities in that particular match because he was playing much sharper before the match and even after the match.
Yeah.
He was still playing for 5 more years, 4.5, and he was playing much better than during that match. And maybe Kramnik is not the easiest open for Kasparov to begin with.
Yeah, sometimes the matchups matter. But, this fast forwarding to the present again, we have these, Carlsen is clearly dominant in these faster time controls. And Nakamura seems to be the guy who can compete with him. And during this latest tournament, they were paired in the first round. So this is a knockout tournament. So although I guess you can be reseeded into a lower division.
Yes, so Nakamura might come back. It's a double elimination. But it was a little bit anticlimactic because Carlsen won 2 games convincingly with White. And then Nakamura had this position when he was White with a queen against 2 bishops and a pawner.
Yes, it's a mystery.
On one side.
What's happened, Ken? What's in?
I think it's a solid fortress draw. So I actually side with Hikaru. I'm not on not feeling it was worth trying to press it. It wasn't going to go anywhere.
Hmm.
So
And that draw just clinched it for Carlson. Then.
yeah, I think so. It depends on the order in which the games were played.
Yeah,
but
correct. Right.
Yeah,
But I could watch his face, and his face was that he
Carlson was what?
yeah, and I think Nakamura regretted that he so easily allowed Carlson
Well,
to
there's
escape.
psychological value in just pushing. Just make Carlson play some moves.
I remember Larry Christensen telling me one time, "I'm just going to torture him in the ending," and it was like the ending wasn't necessarily won, but he's just going to play on and until the guy might crack.
Yeah, but
defending all the time is hard.
Yeah, my little dream about that game, because I did have a dream about the game. And in my dream about that game, Black had Bishop on G5. Well, so it's not even possible because I think White's pawn was already there, but it was a dream. Yeah. And Black's other Bishop on G6. The one weak point in the position to probe is F7 or F8. So you march your king to E8, and you put your queen on D7, hitting F7. And then Black can play F7, F5, mate. Cover check with the bishop on G6. So that was my dreamed up reason why Laura didn't play on.
Wow. And you're lucky one to have.
Yeah,
nice dreams.
I can give up the queen, but
Okay. You know what I would propose by next week? We will have more results and more games. And we will definitely have to take a look.
We didn't talk about Neiman and Pierce Morgan, just as well as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's leave it for next time.
Okay.
And looking forward to see you next week, same place, same time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ken.